Hello and welcome to WEBN's Off the Bench. I'm Lily Zhao.
And I'm Brian Drozda. Plenty has gone on in the world of sports over the past week, and we're here to fill you in on everything you may have missed. Let's start with the MLB offseason. There are plenty of big-name free agents for teams to throw their money at this offseason, but none is bigger than left-handed starting pitcher Cliff Lee. Lily, where do you see Lee landing in April?
Well, Brian, after a less than satisfying end in Texas, star pitcher Cliff Lee will likely end up in New York. When a big name like Lee is a free agent, we all know New York will make a push for him. The Yankees certainly have the money to outbid any other team, and the Yankees have already contacted agent Derek Broniker to let him know they are interested. The Yankees also have a hole in their starting rotation. They have CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett, Phil Hughes, Andy Pettitte, and Javier Vazquez. Since Vazquez will likely leave the team, that opens up a spot for Lee. Another factor in New York's favor is that Lee and Sabathia and both their wives are very close friends. That might help seal the deal.
Come on, Lily. The Yankees are such a blah pick. I'm going with the Detroit Tigers. First, the Tigers have the cash. They have the 6th highest payroll in 2010 and will be shedding just over $24 million when they don't re-sign Johnny Damon, Jeremy Bonnerman, and Gerald Laird. Lee is reportedly seeking $23 million annually, so the Tigers will have more than enough cash. Second, the Tigers' pitching has room for improvement. They were 24th in the majors in ERA and 19th in WHIP. Also, in over 70 innings pitched at Comerica Park, Lee has compiled an ERA just over 3, his best at any park where he has pitched that many innings. Third, Cliff Lee is a southpaw. Detroit already has Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, both dominating right-handers. Throw Lee in between those two, and the Tigers may have the best 1-2-3 punch in the American League. Finally, Lee has the potential to be the final piece in the Tigers' championship puzzle. They have a star closer in Jose Valverde, a potential MVP candidate in Miguel Cabrera, and a superstar leadoff hitter in the making in Austin Jackson. The Tigers may not be the talk of the town now, but I think that will change as the offseason progresses.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm sure everyone here in Boston wouldn't mind seeing Cliff Lee in red and white.
That's for sure, but now for some more baseball free agent rumors, let's bring in Megan Kamara, our MLB insider.
Free agency rumors are giving baseball fans something to buzz about during the offseason. Lily, it looks like you may have been right about Lee. The New York Yankees have contacted the Cy Young candidate on the first day of open negotiations. Acquiring Lee and re-signing closer Mariano Rivera are at the top of New York's to-do list. Speed shark Carl Crawford is another sought-after free agent. The Yankees' initial disinterest with the left fielder leaves him to be approached by clubs like the LA Angels, Red Sox, and World Series champion San Francisco Giants, who are looking to expand their outfield. The Red Sox have contacted agent Scott Boras about signing outfielder Jason Worth. The Sox need to build up their outfield again, following an injury-laden season with Mike Cameron and Jacoby Ellsbury missing a number of games. Adrian Beltre probably won't sign back with Boston and could be seen as a possible candidate by the Angels. His inconsistency with multi-year contracts for the Dodgers and Mariners will likely be taken into account. Yankees captain Derek Jeter is a free agent this year as well. The San Francisco Chronicle says the Giants are keeping an eye on Jeter, but it's not likely the shortstop will be leaving New York anytime soon. Finally, Red Sox slugger David Ortiz won't be seeing free agency quite yet. The Red Sox picked up Big Papi's one-year, $12.5 million team option, and that's what has the MLB buzzing this week. Back to you.
Thanks, Megan. Sounds like it will be a busy offseason for a number of teams.
It certainly will, but right now let's move to the NBA. The Golden State Warriors are off to a hot start this season, thanks in part to the stellar play of Monta Ellis.
Here to break down Ellis' performance is NBA insider Samantha Russo. Samantha, are Monta Ellis and the Warriors going to keep this up all season?
The Golden State Warriors are 5-2 so far this season. Point guard Monta Ellis has had a lot to do with this team's resurgence as playoff contenders as he stepped up his role when Stephen Curry was out with an ankle injury. Because of the Warriors' struggles as a team, Ellis is often overlooked, but his stats speak for themselves. Ellis led the league in field goal attempts per game last season and finished 6th in the league in scoring, averaging 25.5 points a game. In Monday night's game against the Raptors, Ellis put up 28 points before leaving the game with a back injury. Last season, he put up 37 points at Dallas in a Warriors win, dropped 45 points in a game against Indiana, resulting in a G-State win, and finished with 37 points in a Warriors comeback against the Celtics. His ability to play the passing lines and strip his opponents are huge reasons the Warriors led the league in steals last season. Monta Ellis averaged 2.25 steals per game, finishing 2nd in the league behind Rajon Rondo. He He finished in the top 20 of all players in points per 48 minutes of clutch time, ahead of big-name players such as Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and Brandon Jennings. If the Warriors know what's best for them, then Monte Ellis will have the ball in his hand when the clock is running out.
Thanks, Samantha. I'm sure all Golden State fans are hoping that Ellis's back injury isn't something that lingers all season long.
So we've broken down the play of one superstar, but what about the rest of the league?
Let's welcome in our NBA bold predictor, Ben Greg Wally. So Ben, what's going to blow our minds in the NBA this season?
Well, Lily, my bold prediction is that Blake Griffin will win Rookie of the Year. Yes, John Wall is great, but don't overlook my man Blake. Since Griffin missed the entire season last year, it seems as though he has a bit more to prove. He was highly regarded as a Rookie of the Year candidate last year, but his injury ended the journey before it even began. Now Wall comes along and tries to steal his thunder. Not going to happen. While still high off his stellar freshman season at Kentucky, he has very little to work with in Washington, and point guard is the most difficult position to master in the NBA. Although he's off to a hot start with 19 points per game and 9.6 assists per game, Wall will hit a wall at some point this season. Griffin has a chip on his shoulder, experience from Washington last year, and is already averaging a double-double with 18 points per game and 11 rebounds per game. That's more rebounds than Pau Gasol, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett. His consistency is ultimately going to be the separating factor between he and Wall. Night in and night out, you're going to be able to count on Griffin's production. Wall, on the other hand, will have an outstanding game here and there, and that's going to inflate his totals. Griffin is a monster and freakishly athletic. Once he becomes fully adjusted to the pace and physicality of the NBA, his numbers will only increase.
Okay, so Blake, it's your pick for Rookie of the Year. Give us a sleeper team for the playoffs.
Well, Lily, I like the New Jersey Nets. Last year, the New Jersey Nets lost a woeful 70 games, but the team has made some significant changes this past offseason, starting with the addition of rookie Derek Favors and free agents Jordan Farmar, Anthony Morrow, and Travis Outlaw. Granted, none of these guys are big-name players, but they all have potential and youth. The Nets have some experience as well in point guard Devin Harris, Courtney Lee, Terrence Williams, and Brooke Lopez, who led all centers in points per game last year. It will take some time, but I think new head coach Avery Johnson will point this team in the right direction. He proved that he knows how to win when he took the Mavs to the NBA Finals in 2006 and won Coach of the Year. It shouldn't be all that difficult against some of the lowly Eastern Conference squads. Aside from the powerhouses atop the conference, the last couple of playoff spots belong to whichever teams want it the most. And I can guarantee you Avery Johnson is going to turn the Nets into one of those teams. Granted, the Nets only won 12 games last year. They were experiencing injuries and growing pains. So far, the Nets have already shown signs of life, winning their first 2 games of the season. But with a year of experience under its belt and a solid head coach, this team has a real chance at becoming playoff bound.
Well, thanks, Ben. Well, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on New Jersey this season.
Definitely do so.
All right, excellent. Switching from the court to the turf, let's welcome in our NFL guru, Brett Conley.
Brett, the Giants went all the way across the country and destroyed the Seahawks, tying them with the Falcons for the best record in the NFC. Are the Giants really the class of the National Football Conference?
Lily, the Giants are the best team in the NFC. They beat the Seahawks to a pulp on Sunday. Now, granted, the Seahawks are not playoff material, but the Giants took care of business, and that's what good teams do. This game was over in the first quarter. Now, we know the NFL rankings change week to week. Case in point, everyone's off the Patriots now because they got waxed by Peyton Hillis, who looked like Jim Brown. But the Giants are for real. The Giants are second in the league in rushing, and Eli Manning has thrown 9 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. And their defense? It's one of the best in the league. Every week it seems like they're knocking out the other team's quarterback.
All right, Brett, Randy Moss finds himself on his 3rd team this season. What kind of impact will he make in Tennessee?
Yeah, Randy Moss is all over the place. I don't think it's going to hurt Tennessee, but the question is, how much is it going to help them? Moss needs to learn a new system. The Titans are hurting because Kenny Britt's out, so I don't know how much production in terms of receiving yards you're going to get, but at the very least, it should help out 2 guys. Tight end Bo Scaife, who's on my fantasy team, and Chris Johnson. Scaife should get more balls from Vince Young in the underneath routes, and he'll pull the safeties further from the line of scrimmage to open up running lanes for Johnson. But Johnson still ain't going to get that 2,500 rushing yards he wanted at the beginning of the year.
All right, last one, Brett. Will Phillip Rivers and the unknowns be able to once again shine bright and win the AFC West?
Draw a simple answer, yes, for a couple reasons. First of all, they do this every year, starting out slow. But it begins with their division. I understand people are excited about the Chiefs and the Raiders being back in the NFL with a competitive spirit, but they've been irrelevant for years. And until one of those teams win the division, it's the Chargers to lose. Those teams have Jason Campbell or Bruce Gradkowski and Matt Castle. The Chargers have Phillip Rivers. He's on track to shatter Dan Marino's records for passing yards, and he's doing it with a bunch of nobodies. Rivers has 11 guys with double-digit receptions. If you have a Chargers jersey in two hands, you might be asked to run a route right now, and Rivers will hit you.
And that was Brett Connolly breaking down the NFL as only he can. We have the latest on the BCS, find out who's on top of the standings.
And the Anchor Challenge is back. Reigning champ Ryan Fleiter is here to defend his title. We'll see if he can hold on to it and see you in a bit.